this lad's discussions meme is. But I just really felt I was just looking at more just the two, pun intended, sizing each other up rather than a fight.
get it.
If you wish to send us memes, just so you can get a shout out at the start of these videos, be sure to send them to our Twitter handles. Alright then. So, from one episode that had me like this, the next time is this. Because, oh boy. Oh my god. I feel like I understand how Mate felt when he saw Blake versus Mikasa. Because that was...
You know that meme we had? A template of Mate's face? We can use that one. The top face. This episode. The bottom face. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yes, people, it is Chosen Undead from Dark Souls versus the Dragonborn from Skyrim. Oh.
To clarify this, because DJ Tiki had to point this out, they're calling it Dark Souls versus Skyrim, mostly for get clicks.
I mean, it makes sense, really, because people don't really know what the Chosen... Because here's the thing, the character's not called Chosen... I'll go into more details when we actually talk about it. The episode, well, I guess that's now, but... Oh boy, like, if you saw... People, if you remember seeing how when we did the crossover with the bros, and I'm just saying our version of that crossover was way better. Just saying.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. Oh, great! I'm going to be killed by Probuskers and Yang the Insane now.
Hey, what happened? I was changing shirts.
I can hear you actually in the background. But
You stole my joke from my reaction.
mate, you steal jokes all the time.
Fair enough.
Hey, to be fair, I even said in here I'm gonna change my shirts during the session. You didn't say anything then.
That is true as
Fair
well.
enough.
I mean, technically not in this recording, so he could just say you're lying and I'll just edit that. I have too much power. But yeah, so let's... Okay, we've kind of already talked about the story of Skyrim and Dark Souls, but now we're going to go into more detail about the characters. And let's talk about the Chosen Undead, because this is where it's going to get confusing. Now, people, if you're expecting me to go over the entire Dark Souls lore, well, let's see. We're meant to be recording this for at least under 2 hours, and Dark Souls has 24 hours of lore on YouTube. So it's like, look, I'm not going to go into all the details about everything, just the important parts.
Well, if it's specifically Chosen Undead, doesn't that mean like you only get one game?
Technically, the Chosen Undead is also a boss in Dark Souls 3, but I didn't get enough time to look up about that, so maybe they'll bring it up in Death Battle. So, Chosen Undead. Who is the Chosen Undead? Well, he is everybody and nobody. So, I kind of mentioned this before, the Chosen Undead, there is no canonical Chosen Undead. So the story of Dark Souls is that there was a great battle, and the flames that kept the world in light starting to fade out, and there was this disease going around called the Undeath. I'm probably butchering the name of people. I haven't played the actual Dark Souls one since the 360 era, so the game's been around for a long time. Like, there's a reason why this episode's been highly requested.
Yeah, I think it's actually one of the first episodes that Liam really wanted to see, like, be a thing.
Yeah.
Because this was the second one, the first obviously being Alucard and Dio.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, what is this disease, you're probably wondering? Well, you're technically immortal, but it comes with a catch. So, the human race had this disease where they would continuously die, but then they would come back to life. Now, on one hand, I bet mates listen to this like, that doesn't sound like a curse at all. Until you realise what happens if you become insane and lose your humanity. Because, yeah, the world of Dark Souls is... what's the best way to tell it? You know how Ruby Volume 9 was just basically that SpongeBob clip, I'm Ready Depression? That's Dark Souls. It is a depressing world that... It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. Like, you at the bottom of the food chain, And you have to exist in a world for these godlike beings that will just do nothing but destroy you. And humanity is practically dying. The last flames are going out, and without the flames, the world dies. And unfortunately, at the time of Dark Souls 1, humanity is practically nearing extinction. And you would think, but they're immortal, right? What is the problem with this curse? Well, if the more humanity you lose, then you become hollow. And by becoming hollow, you are just nothing but a shambling corpse. Everything that made you you is gone. You are a zombie, essentially. But you still retain your powers. But once you become hollow, that's it. You are just a husk. Nothing that made you you is there anymore. Yeah, Dark Souls is a...
Sounds like Bleach.
Kind of, in a way, yeah. But,
Also, truth be told, when you were talking about the curse of immortality, my first thought was actually, so you become Kenny from South Park?
well, at least Kenny doesn't have to worry about, potentially permanently dying and going insane. I mean, that's debatable.
You can name your chosen undead Mysterion, so there's that.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, they're going to go with, the default skin, because that's what they're probably going to do for the Dragonborn, because the default skin's on the cover of the game. So, yeah, Dark Souls is just a depressing game. But the whole message of this game is that you are the chosen undead, or you could be the chosen undead, but if you give up on your journey to try and win, you've gone hollow. Essentially, the chosen undead is the player. Will you go through the trials and become triumphant and bring the world of light back? Or if you turn off your Xbox, you basically went hollow and you decide to touch grass because you want to have a life. That's the best summary of this game. So the chosen undead is the undead that was able to go through all these trials, defeat these godlike entities and win, along with getting some pretty good weaponry along the way. Okay, so I did go on the wiki in case I did miss out on a few special abilities, but I do mainly want to go over all the typical weaponries that you can get in this game. So of course, sword and shield. No shit. There's all sorts of crazy armor you can get, and many of them from either your allies because you killed them because they went hollow. Seriously, it's one of those games where if you try to 100% complete it, all those characters you like are gonna die and become hollow. It's like...
Imagine if it was a Game of Thrones video game.
Yeah, but okay, mate, imagine...
You like this person? They're dead.
Yeah, but mate, imagine... let me think of a game like... imagine you 100% in Crash Bandicoot, right? Imagine...
I have.
Well, yeah, but imagine you doing that, but each time you do that, someone like Coco or Tuana, I can't remember what her name is, start dying. Imagine you completing the game kills them.
Oh, that is depressing.
Yep, and trust me, and sometimes it will happen just out of nowhere. You defeat a boss and you've done this character cycle, it's like, oh, thank you, I shall now be on my way. Then you're just doing some grinding and you see that character again, you're like, oh, it's my friend. Oh, he's hollow, and he tries to attack you without saying anything. Dark Souls? More like Depression Souls. Fuck this game, man.
That was a pretty dark joke.
That was low-hanging fruit.
Our humor is getting more and more soulless.
Hey!
Just like the undead humans. Now, the thing that's kind of confusing about when it comes to the Dark Souls chosen undead, they are technically human, but they do get some magical abilities like the lightning rod, which is the most iconic, unlockable magic you could get, because... Well, mainly because this can nearly one-shot a majority of bosses if you grind enough for it. Obviously, me being a new player at the time, I didn't know this, so I struggled. Joke's on them, I defeated the game much harder than it could have been. Now, the Chosen Undead, of course, you could get loads of sort of weapons and armor from the Forge Master, and yeah, you get all sorts of crazy swords. I feel as though they are going to mainly stick to the most OP ones, but they're going to make him at least look like the default skin. At least that's
probably.
But, of course, you could get magical abilities such as Fireball, Firestorm, which, if I had to explain what that does, people, then you have no imagination. Fire Whip, oh my. You can also get Iron Flesh, which just makes you more durable. And what else do I have? Oh yeah, loads of different types of arrows. The ones that I remember off the top of my head are soul arrows, which fire an arrow that uses the power of a soul. And you can upgrade that to be all sorts of things. You can also make them homing, so those arrows don't miss. There's Soul Spear, Dragon's Breath, and of course I mentioned the Lightning Spear. A decoy, so that you can like set your decoy during a boss fight. It's not a useful ability though. It's kind of like that Pokemon's version where once it takes damage then you just wasted your health. It's kind of like that.
Substitute.
Yeah. Not a good ability really. Well, I mean, maybe it is, I've just been using it wrong. But of course, the Chosen Undead's most iconic item on him is the Flask, which stores all the fire that he gets from bonfires. As in, yes, this guy's drinking fire to heal his health. You know those like Indian like street performers that just breathe fire from their mouths? That's kind of what he's doing. Now, of course, how he refills this is by returning to a bonfire, which I don't think he's going to be able to get the chance to do in this game or in this fight. But you can hold 20 on you. At least that's I'm pretty sure. Sure, you can confirm that. That is 20, right? That he can hold on him. In the first game. I'm not sure what it's like in the others.
I want to say so.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm wrong, I'll put it on screen.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, when I was playing the game a little bit myself, just to get started my knowledge, yeah, I was able to get up to 20. It's a nightmare to do it though. But maybe I could do it more, but I wasn't grinding enough. I had to grind on Skyrim and Dark Souls, man. Like, I have a life, and I was job hunting. Now, of course, you can seek all sorts of other magical abilities to heal you and stuff like that. Now, of course, there is something regarding a lot of these magic spells. You can't gain everything in one playthrough. It's kind of like Persona 4 with the friendship thing, I think, mentioned to me, where if you want to go down this path, you have to join this clan, but to do that, you have to learn this move, but then to do that, you have to be taught by this teacher. So, yeah, you can't just give the Chosen Undead to everybody. I guess they're gonna have to, just so that they can go through, like, what abilities can counter what, because I think Ben said this, RPG characters' bias is really difficult to not show. But
yeah, I mean, they'll probably just do what they did with Cloud and just give him everything.
Yeah, it's kind of what you're gonna have to do, really, because yeah, it's not really because if you just went by the most popular build, which most of the time people go a non-magic build, but given the fact that Dragonborn to 100% complete the game, you have to learn sort of magic abilities. Yeah, you're gonna have to do the same with the Chosen Undead, especially how I think this episode's gonna go. Then yeah, you need to give the Chosen Undead everything. Now, of course, though, yeah, so you can learn magical abilities and weapons. Now, what is the Chosen Undead faced? Well, he's faced demons, godlike beings, and of course, I never. Hold on, let me look at my note. What this is? I'm gonna put it on screen, but people, if you thought I was bad with Japanese names, then Gwendolyn. Did I pronounce that right, Sean?
Kind of sounds like an actual person name in Gwendolyn, but it's not an actual person, I believe. It's kind of like a creature.
Yeah, well, Gwendolyn's like a goddess in like, or a god, I can't remember which it is, but it's basically a powerful god that uses the power of the sun. And this is the thing I mentioned in our chat, because I really didn't think the Chosen Undead didn't have a light speed feat. No, it actually does. There are a few enemies that do use lasers, and you can block them or dodge them. So I was like, huh. Okay then, I guess Chosen Undead has some advantages. Of course, though, the biggest wins has to be against the Gwyn Lord of Cinder. Now, in the lore, this character was able to use his army to stop the dragon army from destroying the world. However, he eventually fell to becoming hollow, and he was just a powerful monster. But the Chosen Undead was able to defeat him. Now, keep in mind, the Lord of Cinder has potentially hundreds of years of experience. Even as a Hollow, though that person's gone, they carry the experience and the powers of their previous, their previous life. Kind of like Marvel zombies, where they're technically zombies now, but they still maintain their powers in a way, I guess. So, yeah, so all that fighting experience, and the chosen undead was able to defeat him. And considering the fact this chosen undead was literally in a prison and just busted out just through dumb luck, that says a lot. And of course, the most infamous boss fight to this day I dread ever playing again, the Bed of Chaos. In short, okay, I just want to quickly rant, fuck this boss fight, because it's just shitty platforming. Look, seriously, it is shitty platforming, and it just ends with you hitting this one thing in this tree. Just fuck this boss fight. Alright, I remember playing it on the 360, and I thought to myself, maybe I was just bad at this game. Every YouTube video I've watched about it, though, yeah, I wasn't alone. The Bed of Chaos is horrendous. Just,
It sounds like the name of a bed mattress company evil villain would own.
I mean, if
By the way,
if this
I'm
is
sorry, you were saying it was a bed, and fuck this boss fight.
okay, I realise how I worded that. Phrasing.
And you mentioned a tree, so wood was involved.
Oh my god, unintentional sex joke. I mean, listen, in each one of these videos, we had to at least get one sex joke, so at least I was able to get it out of my range. But yeah, so the point of the Bed of Chaos, though, this is the most powerful being within the Dark Souls universe, because the tree itself is really powerful and there's no way to hurt it. You have to go within it to kill the creature that's controlling it. And in short, it's a horrible boss fight. Lore-wise, though, it is meant to be immensely powerful, so, you know, there's that at least. And Sean, I saw you sending that freaking smug little Blake picture. Fuck you.
It was fitting for what the joke was going for.
Okay, I thought you were trying to act like I guarantee you've probably done this boss fight and you raged at it.
No, this wasn't for the boss fight. This was literally for the joke mate was making.
Alright then.
You were talking more as I posted it.
Alright, fair enough. Now, of course, obviously Dark Souls bosses have gotten more powerful in later installments, but obviously the Chosen Undead's not present in those games. It's different characters in every Souls-like game. So, the Chosen Undead, these characters that you face are like reality warpers, really powerful godlike characters. Of course, though, this is something I do have to kind of say that the Chosen Undead doesn't have this advantage. Just because he defeated them doesn't mean he's more powerful. How the Chosen Undead fights is by whittling them down. Like, so someone like, trying to think of a good character. Like someone like Batman, because, yeah, he's faced the Justice League. However, he didn't essentially overpower them with his full power. He looked for weaknesses and found a way to exploit them to win. Because, yeah, there's no way Batman's going to win against the Flash in a one-on-one fight. Even the Flash even threatened Batman at one point saying that. Pretty hardcore, Barry. But, yeah, that's basically the Chosen Undead. Because of his immortality, he's able to learn the boss fight, or learn the strategy of these monsters. So when despite how powerful they are, they can't kill him. But I'm pretty sure lore-wise, because, like I said, there's a lot of lore of these guys. I'll put a name of a YouTuber I watch to get the lore of these characters, and check them out. They go into deep detail. I'm pretty sure, lore-wise, they could just erase the Chosen Undead if they wanted to. But, however, gameplay-wise, that wouldn't be fun, would it? So, these characters, because here's the other thing as well, when you die, the other monsters respawn, which doesn't really make sense, because not every monster is hollow. Now, how the boss fights work, or at least how these villains work, is that because the Chosen Undead is immortal, quote-unquote, they are able to learn the tactics and keep coming back to then learn from them, dodge their attacks, and just whittle them down until eventually they die. That's how he was able to learn against the first boss fight, which is a giant fat demon. I think it's called the prison demon. So
it's more like the asylum demon.
Asylum demon, yeah, that's it. 'Cause you were in an asylum, not prison. Which
aren't asylums also prisons, or am I just thinking of Arkham?
Asylum's more like an institute.
Yeah, asylums.
Like mentally insane.
Yeah, asylums are meant to be hospital places that help you. In the Dark Souls lore, though, that's not the case. It's more like a propaganda thing they use. But yeah, so the asylum demon is preventing the undead from escaping. And of course, the chosen undead would get his ass handed by them, or unless if you played the game enough and know the exploits, they're not the case at all. But the chosen undead got defeated by this, but eventually, because of its ability to not die, essentially, it learned the demon's abilities and overpowered it and escaped. Which wasn't, in a way, not a good thing, because when you would return to that asylum later on, yeah, let's just say shit went sideways.
Ew.
Yeah. So, yeah, honestly, Dark Souls is a really depressing series, and Chosen Undead, as much as it has all these magical abilities and weaponry, it's not a powerful warrior. It's just more so the determination is what gives them their power, which I do wonder how Death Battle's gonna, use it in the actual fight itself. But I think before we discuss and debate this, Sean, why don't you give us the history of Skyrim and the Dragonborn?
You both are finally awake to learn about Skyrim.
Damn, I'm really annoyed I didn't say praise the sun.
So, let's take a gander to the Nord continent of Skyrim, shall we?
That's pretty much what you're here for.
So, Skyrim currently was being torn by a civil war of the Imperials and Stormcloaks, and you, the protagonists, were mistaken for a Stormcloak. About to be executed, you get saved by Alduin, a big giant dragon.
Now, people, before you think that is a big coincidence, trust me, it actually does make sense in the story.
Yes, because at first glimpse, it's like you're a normal person. So, as you adventure into the realm, you discover, after defeating your first dragon, you absorb the soul of a dragon, which is kind of insane because dragons are considered powerful and immortal in a sense in the Skyrim universe.
Well, they are immortal, that's the thing. During the Great Dragon War, it was said you can't kill a dragon.
Well, that was until the Tiber Septim line found out that they could absorb the souls of dragons and become the Dovahkiin.
Dovahkiin.
Dragonborn.
Dovahkiin sadly on a das on a hole.
I've just had that music playing in my head this whole time.
It is such a good song, man. I remember watching
I have it playing over this part.
I have to. Listen, when I remember watching that trailer, when it's that whole line, talking about these dragons, when the truth finally dawned, it dawned in fire. But there's one they feared. In their tongue, he is Dovahkiin, Dragonborn, and then he does the shout, and the music kicks in. Jesus.
What's crazy about this is there wasn't a Dragonborn since Martin's Septa from Oblivion.
Which was 200 years later. Or earlier, sorry.
Now, I know what people are going to say. Yes, you can play as a variety of different races and genders for the Dragonborn, but just like Chosen Undead, we must stick with the default, which is the Nord. They're like Vikings.
Only racist.
Most are.
Yeah, not my Dovahkiin. No, I kill everybody. My sword's rated E for everyone.
Oh, what a coincidence. Speaking of swords, that's one of the many variety of weapons that the Dragonborn has been shown to wield, including bows, daggers, warhammers, axes, shields.
So pretty much same arsenal as the Chosen Undead.
This man can dual wield a dagger in one hand and a fucking mace in the other.
And he could stab through, pretty much any sort of armor, including indestructible Daedric armor, apparently.
Right. There's a variety of different materials that each of the weapons have. ranging from iron being the weakest, all the way to making it out of dragon bone and dragon scales.
How did dragons not shit their pants when they see a man literally covered in their immortal brethren approaching them?
Although some would argue that they prefer the Daedric weaponry because of the slight side effect of it lighting things on fire.
I mean, it's one way to cook a barbecue.
But besides that, the Dragonborn has also learned a variety of different magic throughout the universe, starting out with, of course, destruction magic, which, as you can guess, is mostly elements like fire, lightning, and ice.
Are we sure it's actually lightning, though?
It is, actually.
Or is it concentrated plasma?
No, that has been stated in some books over at the College of Winterhold, that this acts like lightning from a lightning storm you would see in the night sky.
Yeah, I mean, if we could say one thing, the Dragonborn and the Chosen Undead, weaponry and magic is somewhat similar to on a scale.
Well, it would be if there wasn't 5 schools of magic in Skyrim.
Yeah, which... I'll let you finish talking about Dragonborn to... Because I already have my winner decided.
Well, besides that, he also learns a healing spell, which he can heal himself with, but he also can heal naturally. This is most likely due to the fact that, just like the dragons who are immortal, he inherits that healing factor from a dragon.
I mean, it should be stated, though, if you were to just wait out your healing factor, it could take, like, from 1 life to, I think you could have your health go up to, like, 500. That takes around 3 minutes.
Well, it's a good thing he also carries healing potions and food. Yeah. His strongest ability is to open up the pause menu and eat 50 wheels of cheese, and then go back to fighting.
Okay, obviously I don't think that would actually count to the lore. That's more so gameplay.
It's
yeah, otherwise you
thing.
could make that argument for Link and Link vs. Cloud.
Or Chosen
It's
Undead.
still the funniest thing. So just think about it. I'm like, here, let me eat these 50 wheels of cheese and I'll get back to you.
Skyrim is literally a cesspool of memes. Like, it's been around for over 10 years. There's memes about everything. And there's even newer memes coming out. Like, that whole Rayloff finally awake. That didn't become a meme until, like, 2018. Just, it's like, have you guys seen Akira has been suddenly having this meme where Tetsuro's like, shut up, and it will just be some random image. Like, that's becoming a meme all of a sudden.
Jesus Christ.
But just, it's like, just randomly someone's like, hey, what should be a meme this year? How about Marty's going Afro Circus from Madagascar?
Aw, Bill just sounds like someone stole his sweet roll.
Jesus Christ.
I know too many memes. I know this game a lot. Okay. But besides the variety of schools of magic, which we can touch on later, he is also really good at stealth at certain points. Being able to sneak up from behind enemies and freaking suplex them.
Yeah, his kill animations are great.
Master of pickpocket, opening locks, making his own weaponries, crafting potions. Yes, there's a lot of skill trees that you can go into.
And unlike the Chosen
However-
Undead, he could just max them out.
However, the deadliest tool in any Dragonborn's arsenal is a Thu'ume. We makers call it a shout. Thu'umes are translated in dragon language and offer a variety of unique abilities. Whenever you see 2 dragons fighting in the world of Skyrim, it's more like a heated debate. Of course, the most iconic one, and memeable one that Mate knows, is the one they like to call Unrelenting Force. With all 3 words put together, you get Fusroda. A powerful shout that can send enemies flying.
Yeah, that's like the one, even if you don't Skyrim like me, you've at least heard that.
Yeah. And to be an extra nerd, what that dragon thing is saying, what Fusroda means, force, balance, push. I am so much of a nerd.
Doesn't quite hit the same beat. Force, balance, push!
Actually, it kind of does.
Well, to be fair,
No.
To be fair, all these are 3 syllables, just like the actual dragon names in game.
Yeah, like they
Think
legit.
about it. Parthanax, Alduin, Odaving.
Okay, I would understand this. Mate is just listening to you like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm literally just here like Caboose in season 8. Yes, that is interesting. I understand everything that is being said.
The Dragonborn has a variety of so many different shouts. Shouts ranging from, of course, unrelenting force, breathing fire, freezing an enemy solid, slowing down time, which don't ask me how the fuck that works. That you can slow down time with just a voice.
Yeah, dragons are OP to say the least.
Hell.
I just realized there's a potential for a joke in the episode.
Well, not really. If it's the one I think you're going to mention.
Time.
Yes, I know. If it's saying in the analysis, then yeah, sure. But I was thinking, like, if you're talking about the fight itself, no, there's no reason why.
No.
Also,
honestly, if anything, it'd probably be like Dio vs. Alucard. Just what Boomstick tries to say it, but then Wiz smacks him.
Yeah.
He also is powerful and has a shout powerful enough to create a giant thunderstorm.
Which is undodgeable, sadly. But it also attacks every organic life that is around you. So it's kind of a, don't use this in a public area. Trust
But
me,
if you are
I
Include
know.
himself.
Nope, he remains untouched.
Oh.
But anything that's alive, like innocent people, animals, even birds, I'm not even kidding, will get struck by this. That's why
I will.
don't make the mistake I did when I was fighting a bunch of bandits. Don't use that ability outside of town, because I had a 10,000 gold bounty afterwards.
Jesus.
However, he learned a few more shouts from dragons in the world, such as good old Parthanax. He is probably the fan favorite when it comes to teachers in the Elder Scrolls universe.
And you can choose to save him. No, that's not a mod that someone made. No, that is a thing. You can choose to either kill him or save him. I'm not a denial.
Billy, but
no.
in canon, I have to bring this up because it's one of his best feats.
No,
He does kill and defeat Parthanax.
In an alternative timeline, maybe. Nope, never happened in my one. Never happened. Never happened.
But speaking of,
He's alive and well.
Speaking of shouts he learned from dragons, what he learned from Parthanax is an upgrade to Unrelenting Force. The power to disintegrate people. And before people say that's completely wacky, one of the Greybeards has even stated that it's possible for them to disintegrate people with just a whisper of a word.
Yeah, this is the type of thing MCU's Black Bolt wishes he was. In fact, even when you speak to the Greybeards, aside like the main one, most of them, when they just whisper, Dova King, the tower actually shakes when they say hi to you.
It's not far-fetched.
I mean,
But there is a
when
couple
they
cards he has against the chosen that I'll bring up later. But I did want to go over like some of his impressive victories after Bill finishes his point.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, when the Greybeards first call you, their shout could be heard all across Tamriel, aka the world. So even someone in the other end of the world is probably just chilling, like, today's such a good day, just swimming in this pond. Dova King! What the fuck?
It's kind of similar to when Mate screamed about Blake versus Mikasa.
Yeah. But if an elderly...
We're just screaming, fuck yes!
Yep.
In fact, a nice little detail, if you were in your city before, like, the shout is heard, every NPC stops and looks to the sky when they hear that. Even dogs, which I find funny.
Yes. Like I said, there's a lot of shouts that the Dragonborn has wielded. But it's time to go over, just like Bill did, how about some impressive victories that the Dragonborn has had? Shall we?
Yeah, let's do this.
Well, the Dragonborn has defeated a variety of different enemies, such as Frostag, a giant frost giant located in an abandoned castle in Solstheim. He has also managed to be comparable to other Dragonborns in the past. Hell, this man finally even defeated Alduin. You know, the main bad guy who was called the World Eater. He didn't beat him once, he bitch slapped him twice.
Yeah.
Once in the regular world, and once in his home court of Sovngarde. But that's not his most impressive victory. Deep in the Isle of Solstheim, inside an abandoned plane of oblivion, meets the most challenging boss the Dragonborn has ever faced. Behold, Mirak!
The first Dragonborn.
Bill is not exaggerating. The first Dragonborn, who one-shots the Dragonborn with his powers.
Yeah, this is the guy I knew you were going to bring up, because if we had to really compare Gwyn to Mirak, yeah, this guy is pretty powerful. It's even stated he could have obliterated Alduin, but he didn't want to.
Where do I have it listed about Mirak? I was actually looking at a video about someone talking about how powerful exactly Mirak is. Here it is. So, Mirak, for example, when he defied his dragon masters, before being entrapped by Hermaeus Mora and a dragon priest whose name I forget off the top of my head because there's a lot, he killed 21 dragons.
Considering the fact, according to Skyrim's law, it takes an entire army to bring down one, yeah, that's a gloating feat.
And hell, every time the Dragonborn kills a dragon in the continent of Solstheim, Mirak appears and takes the soul for himself. Meaning he knows exactly when a dragon dies.
He's also pretty old as well, isn't he? Like 1,000 years old.
Along those lines.
And
this man can manipulate reality and history with his shouts. Even is stronger not only to Alduin, but some of the strongest stager who, and I quote, can make an entire realm in an alternate dimension of oblivion.
so he could literally shape the gates of hell if he wanted to.
And guess what? The Dragonborn beat him. Sure, you can say Hermaeus Mora dealt the final blow, but the fact of the matter is that the Dragonborn, despite getting one-shot by Mirak, was able to hold his own and bested him.
Well, yeah, because every time he got close to nearly dying, he had to steal the soul of a dragon just so he could keep fighting.
Yeah, he became intangible so he could take a soul.
Yeah. So,
However, the Dragonborn does have some flaws as well, like the Chosen Undead. For example, if he dies, he can't come back.
I mean, there is that advantage at least.
Not to mention, of course, sure, his health, mana, and stamina can regenerate, but it does take a bit. And another thing I will say that might hamper the Dragonborn is if he can be affected by slowing effects. And hell, Ulfric's Stormcloak has even been able to knock back the Dragonborn with an unrelenting force shout.
Yeah. Although, in the case of Ulfric, he does fight dirty, so the Dragonborn wasn't expected, because in all the stories he hears of Ulfric, he does fight honourably, only to be surprised when Ulfric's actually just a glorified, egotistical arsehole who, before he even drew his own sword, shouted the Dragonborn away.
Still, this man is not a Dragonborn in any way, shape, or form, yet he can knock around the Dragonborn like a ragdoll.
Yeah. Well, until, he finishes him off, though.
So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what they're given. From what I've understood, we're giving them everything. So I was mostly focusing on DLC feats as well. Which is understandable, because like I said, there's a lot of notes to go over. But I think I'm ready for the 60 seconds.
Alright then, and I'm ready to defend the Chosen Undead.
I have questions ready, and this will help shape my verdict.
Alright then, well, I mean, I'm already gonna decide. I've already decided on a winner, to be honest. So, mate, I take it you're the timer man this time? That pun wasn't intentional. That pun wasn't intentional, but
he doesn't have it ready. Oh well.
It's been a while, okay?
I know.
Jesus Christ.
Also, I may have accidentally set the timer to an hour.
Okay, I'm not.
Okay, Bill, you have an hour to defend Chosen Undead. Go for it.
I mean, I probably could make a case in an hour at least, but no, I'll just stick to 60 seconds.
Alright. Are you ready?
I am. I'm gonna try my best, Chosen Undead, for you, my brother. Or sister.
Okay. And go.
Okay then, Chosen Undead, while it may not seem like the most powerful of RPG heroes, his confidence and of course his resilience to never give up, to learn the strategy of his opponents, is just unmatched. His weaponry sees like to limitless possibilities. He wielded many weapons, magical abilities that could give him advantage against even godlike beings, even against Gwyn, the one who managed to stop world-ending dragons. However, I will say, despite that he can die permanently, it takes a lot to kill the Chosen Undead, and it's really dependent on if the Chosen Undead gives up the fight, or you can fully absorb the soul of the Chosen Undead. While I will say, I'm not sure if I'm confident in this, I will say, praise the sun for our Chosen Undead. He will at least go down fighting and give the Dragonborn one hell of a fight in this dark world. And if I have more seconds, let's just end it here.
All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Sean, are you ready?
I think so, yes.
Okay. And go.
The last Dragonborn is going to show why he will be the last one standing in this fight. He's got a variety of different weapons, magic, and different armors to help shield and protect him. He's got potions and a natural healing ability to keep him going in the fight. His Thu'umes are something that the Chosen Undead is not going to see coming in any shape or way because of how versatile they are. Some of the Thu'umes can disintegrate him instantly, some can slow down time, ensuring he has the speed advantage, and he has defeated more powerful foes, I argue, compared to the Bed of Chaos. There are some shouts that can tear out the Chosen Undead's soul, though it is unclear if the Chosen Undead could resist that. I'd be willing to go into that a lot later, but overall, with the amount of weapons, Thu'umes, magic, and just overall the amount of people the last Dragonborn has beaten, you Fusfo don't mess with the Dovahkiin. Enjoy those clear skies, Chosen Undead. You're gonna go there. And that's it.
And you timed that perfectly.
All right.
Worked in a Skyrim shout. Let's go.
Hey, I did praise the sun at least.
Well, technically I did 2 shouts, actually. Clear Skies is actually the name of another shout.
All right, then. So, all right, we've already been talking for an hour and a half, so we got a third topic, so let's wrap this up.
Yeah, that was going to be my big question, is, like, you talked about how, like, the Dragonborn can absorb dragon souls. Can he do that to stuff that isn't dragons? So couldn't he, in theory, just absorb the Chosen Undead soul and just end him permanently that way?
So if you don't give him the Soul Trap Conjuration spell, which is possible that they won't because of how much magic is in there, from Dunavir in the Dawnguard DLC, he learned the Soul Tear Shout, which can tear out the souls of people and even bring them back as his permanent thrall.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a win con for Dragonborn. And my other thing concerns, like, the reincarnation of the Chosen Undead, and it's like, how long does it take?
Well, it's usually just instant.
Oh, it is instant. Okay.
However, of course, gameplay-wise, you respawn at the last checkpoint. However, when you do fight other hollow undead, they respawn the moment you leave the area, and they stay in the spot that you last saw them. Obviously, from a gameplay standpoint, then, yeah, you have to go back to the checkpoint, because if you could just respawn on the spot, then it's not much of a challenge then, is there? Though I do say they should have at least left some, at least outside of boss fights. Well, luckily they did in Elden Ring. Thank you.
I actually wonder, do you think they'll have Dragonborn kill Chosen Undead, like, physically? And then he'll, like, show back up and they'll keep the fight going?
Here's actually a thing I will say, though. There are some advantages the Chosen Undead has. One, they both technically have light speed feats. And now the Dragonborn can summon spiritual creatures to help in the fight. However, the Chosen Undead has found a way... I can't remember what the location is where you can fight ghosts. Yeah, he has a magical weapon, or he could use a certain thing he gets from the ghosts so that he can kill ghosts in one hit.
Well,
so summons wouldn't always work.
Here's my rebuttal, if I may. The Dragonborn can summon dragons, like Odahviing and Dunavir.
Well, technically he calls those dragons to come help him. But I think for this fight, they're not going to allow the ability to call in a friend.
Or, for example, besides conjuration spells, with the dragon aspect shout, if the Dragonborn gets below half of his vitality, he gets an ally conjured for him.
Yeah, but again, I do think a lot of his summons are spiritual, and the Chosen Undead has the ability to kill those summons. So I think it will come down to their magic as well as their arsenal, and I guess this is where we should probably say who we're going for. I'm going for Dragonborn.
I am also going to go on the Dragonborn. I think he's got this.
Yeah, because
I'm starting to lean towards Dragonborn just for the soul absorbing, mostly.
Because the
possible Chosen Undead could resist it, depending on how powerful Chosen Undead
no,
is.
because you can get a soul absorbing ability, and you can use it on enemies.
Here's the thing: he didn't absorb Mirak or Alduin's souls technically.
No, because their souls just got taken away, or Alduin permanently fled, and he lies dormant till he can return. But the main thing for me is, the Chosen Undead can also do a soul absorbing, but it's not as good as the Dragonborns, because he can legit cast a spell that says once you're low in health, then he'll absorb your soul. And he's dealt with necromancers in the past who've summoned undead, and he even killed a necromancer god and destroyed her undead army.
I thought you were going to talk about Lord Harkon, but I couldn't really find how powerful Harkon it really was, honestly. That's why I didn't bring him up.
Well, apparently even in just its ghost form was not its full power, yet it was capable of just reanimating so many undead to fight. But the Dragonborn was able to not only fight off the undead, but also kill a weakened, god.
Any more questions, mate?
Now, I will say, when it comes to...
I will say, the shouts have a cooldown.
Okay.
Only for, a few seconds, to be fair, but I will say...
I think it depends on the shout.
The Chosen...
longest cooldown shout is Storm Call. That has the longest cooldown.
Understandably, it's so overpowered. But I will say, the Chosen Undead did manage to fight the legendary warrior. Again, this is another name I had to write down. Artorius, that's it, actually. Now, Artorius was a legendary warrior in the Dark Souls universe. However, he eventually went hollow as well. But even as hollow, though, and he was weakened, the Chosen Undead was able to beat him, even though in the lore-wise, he's the most powerful of the bosses, including the godlike beings that could morph reality. But again, though, I think the other characters Dragonborn faces, though, are just way more impressive. It's kind of like the Omni-Man versus Homelander thing, where, sure, Homelander in his universe is a really powerful character, but when compared to other characters, it's no contest. Plus, the idea I originally had was that, can the Chosen Undead figure out the Dragonborn? But when you have the ability to steal his soul... here's the thing, Chosen Undead wouldn't be dead from the soul steal, but then he's trapped in a crystal. And unless you can morph reality, like certain characters can in Skyrim, what can you do when trapped inside a soul gem? That's the neat part. You can't.
It's kind of like with Starscream, how there's nothing in MLB for him to possess. He's just a sewing machine now.
Yeah, he wouldn't be dead, but he'll just be trapped in a crystal until the Dragonborn decides, you know what, I want my underwear to be fire resistant. So then his soul's in a pair of underwear.
Well, there's also a couple of... Well, there's a couple of things, obviously, that Nords get in Skyrim, ability-wise, that could also, sway the fight a little bit. For example, Nords are resistant to frost damage by 50%. And have a unique ability called Battle Cry, which makes enemies flee from them for 30 seconds.
Yeah. I don't think that would really work on someone like Chosen Undead, because they feel not... Chosen Undead takes on opponents that make you have fear. But he was able to resist it and carry on defeating said characters. So, yeah. But even saying that, though, Dragonborn just... Not that. If you were to take just their magical abilities and weaponry, it's even. Like, I think we can agree on that. Since they can get all sorts of crazy armors that were wielded by powerful warriors, then you could say they're even.
Weapons and armor are even on it, definitely.
And magic.
So it comes down to skills.
But nice. Their magic, I would also say, is even. Even their battle experiences, because the Chosen Undead, no matter what the weapon, is a master at it. The same with the Dragonborn.
It's just the Thu'umes are a huge difference maker.
And not only that, to make your weapon, your magic more overpowered in the Dark Souls game, it takes so many specific steps and joining certain clans. Now, obviously, I think for the sake of this fight, because there's no way Chosen Undead can win with one set alone, but because the shouts are just so crazy overpowered, and sure, many of them have long cooldowns, but with what those shouts can do, is the cooldown really that much of a linger?
Well, especially if he gets Dragon Aspect off, because it reduces shout cooldown time.
Exactly. Plus, not only that, even the magic as well. Like, just, you know, he can have a magic where he can summon a shield that blocks magical abilities. Hell, not even just magic. Sometimes
the wards.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to just be magical abilities. If you make them powerful enough, you could block, like, dragon shouts. Yes, shouts from even the god Alduin, those can block the shouts from them.
Okay.
So, yeah, Dragonborn...
Mate still has to give his final thoughts, and if he has a final prediction.
I think I'm just going to go with Dragonborn.
Yeah, I'm hoping maybe this will be my curse this season. Every character I go for loses so that my favorites win, because I really want Chosen Undead to win.
I mean, Liam's researching Chosen Undead, so you have a pretty good chance, honestly.
Yeah, I've noticed, like, most of the characters Liam, like, researches do tend to win.
Most.
It just sucks because...
Hold on.
It just sucks because, like, I'll actually mention it after recording because there was something going on in the Death Battle server when this got revealed that Liam was researching.
Alright,
let's see, hang on.
The last one from Liam's character to have lost was She-Ra, I think.
Yeah.
I count 3 losses for Liam. That's She-Ra, Mega Man X, and Ben 10.
Yeah. So, but, you know, just like with Hankman and, what was it, Ray Palm or something like that, Sean said. Maybe Hank will win. Maybe Chosen Undead will win because, who knows, maybe that'll be a trend this season. My favourites that I think are going to lose win.
Bill, I only have 3 words for you.
Nano Machine, son.
Alright? No.
That's technically 3 words.
I was thinking that.
Yes, high five.
Alrighty, but there's our thoughts on Chosen Undead versus Dragonborn. I'm excited.
I am too, and yes, people, I am going to react to that. Even if I wasn't, even though many of you want me to react to all episodes anyway, if I was reacting to specific ones, though, yes, this would be the one I react to. Like, none of you see my reaction when these guys said it on the last episodes? It's like, of course I'm excited. And I want it to be clear, but yes, I'm sad for the Chosen Undead, but don't think I don't like Skyrim. No. I love Skyrim. I remember when my sister got it for Christmas, and I just looked at the game and was like, oh, this looks shit. When all my family were gone, I actually thought, let's actually give it a try. My family come back, and I've spent like 5 hours on it. So...
You know, it's like that SpongeBob clip. You like Krabby Patties, don't you, Squidward?
Oh, yeah.
Damn it.
It's a good game, and who knows, maybe someday I might either play it on the channel, maybe even Dark Souls in the future, who knows. But yeah, I'm going for Dragonborn. Mate, are you fully committed to the Dragonborn?
Yeah, sure.
I guess, Sean, are you?
I mean,
oh, sorry.
I may not have, like a horse in this race, in terms of, like, emotional attachment or anything. Like, at the end of the day, I just want a fun fight. And just a fun episode in general.
Who knows? Maybe this will encourage you to maybe try out the games yourself. Hint, hint. Because they're good games.
It's not impossible.
So Sean, I mean, there's also Ruby mods. So, I mean, there's a lot of mods in Skyrim.
Yeah, like Macho Man being a dragon, or
Oh,
like
yeah!
or Thomas the Tank Engine, or even just like some of the glitches I've seen.
Please, Death Battle, please reference all the mods and memes from the community for this episode.
Give me ragdoll physics.
Yes,
Yes.
they have to.
Assuming this fight is in 3D, which I imagine it should be.
Even in 2D, man, just have some fun. Have them ragdoll. Like, use the puppeteer and just have them fall over and just have a ragdoll. Okay, so Sean, I take it you're committed to Dragonborn?
Yes, 100%.